On the agenda tonight, we're going to be having a listen to and taking a look at Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So I'm pretty sure that this request predates Stranger Things because we looked at Kate probably a few years ago now, and this has been on my list, but it's great because we can relate it to Stranger Things now because it's really at the forefront of the public's consciousness. So, we're going to be jumping into the original release from back in 1985, and we will have the pitch monitoring software up on screen as well. So, the pitch monitoring software will show Kate's voice as a yellow line, and the isolating software that I used did pick up some of the synth and think that that was a voice as well, but it doesn't matter because it will serve its purpose for this video. We're going to listen to the original mix to begin with, and then I'm going to point out a few things. I will be jumping into this, so if you want to listen to the song the whole way through, then click on the link in the description below and yeah, just listen to the song. So let's get into it. I'm just going to jump in here. I mean, the first thing that strikes you is the kind of artist that Kate is, and is so unique with her vocal delivery. You can see on screen here that, you know, she's so accurate pitch-wise, and you know, seeing here the D sharp 4, she's bang on these notes, but she has this vibrato in her voice that's really subtle pretty much all the time. When she applies it, it's going to be the same consistency, the same amount of pitch covered, and the same speed. So it means that she's got that really consistent natural vibrato. It's not too wide, and she'll just apply it at the end of lines as well. But what I want to point out is the way that right at the beginning of the song, and just addressing the question as to why they chose this for Stranger Things, and it wouldn't have been a case of naming all the things that I'm going to be going through in this video. They're not going to be thinking about the chords or the timing or the key. They just would have listened to it and known that it felt right for the particular scene that they wanted to put it with. So taking it all the way back to the beginning, we're hit straight away with this minor key, and by the way, we're in C minor here, and that's really important because that's going to give you the overall mood. It's going to set the mood of what we're about to hear throughout the song. And if it was in a major, we'd be going na 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 na, I'm running up that hill. It's going to be too happy. That's not what you want. So anyway, we're in this minor scale, and pretty much we've got 3 chords for the whole song. Just, you know, descending, ascending, just chopping and changing the order, but it's really simple. Now, tempo-wise, another really important thing here is that this song isn't fast, and we're given the excitement in the song by having this constant root note going on the whole time. Have a listen. So hopefully you can pick that out. We've got, I mean, I'm kind of doing alternate picking here on my guitar, but it's not being played on a guitar, but it's keeping everything moving along by playing these notes very quickly. And this is something that is used quite regularly for mid to slow tempo songs to keep the excitement running underneath. It's like an undercurrent of interest keeping things moving. So, I mean, the first thing, I mean, going, we kind of have that gallop to it, but occasionally, because of the effect of the delay having, it turns into more like that, a little bit more random, so you just pick up notes here and there after you've heard that predominant gallop. And just relating this, giving another example to a song that has this constant run all the time. You know, Rocky fans of the movie Rocky will know this, Survivor, Eye of the Tiger, but it's that constant run all the time that's keeping things moving along, because if it didn't have that, then it would start to relax the song too much. Rather than being on your toes, moving forward all the time, you'll be resting on your heels. So it does so much for the song. Exactly the same here with Kate Bush. I mean, her voice, let me mention how upfront it is. It's a really brave mix here, because when we listen to it a bit further, and we've got this really predominant lead line, which is, again, just reinstating the key that we're in that minor scale. It doesn't hurt me. And when her voice comes in, that is so prominent. You can't mistake her voice. It's not hidden anywhere within the track. And sometimes with songs and with mixes, you can have the vocal that's sitting in the song and it sounds like it's in amongst the instruments, and you might lose a word here or there. And what I love about this mix is that they have kept all of the dynamic range in there of Kate's voice. More recently, especially kind of in the 90s and the noughties, it seemed to be the case, and even now, that studios, when they recorded an artist or a band, when they came to do the mix, they then just compressed everything. Basically, louder was seen as better. So they would compress everything to within an inch of its life, and then everything would be the same dynamically. You wouldn't be able to tell if the singer was singing more softly or singing more loudly, because everything would be squashed to just come out of the same volume, effectively. But here, we've got this mix where she's really up front, which means that when she leans into it, you can hear her voice even more clearly, and when she's soft with her vocal delivery, it's even more in the background. It starts to blend into the background, and it's great to have this amount of dynamic range in a mix. This is the thing, that a mix like this is brave because it's a double-edged sword. Having the vocal so up front means that you get to hear so much more expression, you get to hear that lyrical content, especially when it's enunciated well, as Kate does when she sings. But then the vocal has got to be great. It's got to be interesting. It's got to be unique to be that up front. And it is in Kate's case. But I mean, it's so easy to bring a vocal too far forward where you can then hear the inadequacies in somebody's voice. So this is why it's a brave mix, but they knew exactly what they were working with here, and they knew that it would work, because all you've got to do is hear her vocal this up front and it just draws you in to the point where her vocal is the focus. That's the point, that we do have this kind of synth lead line going on, but when Kate's voice comes in, it just demands your attention. So the scene of the song has been set in that minor key, and it's going to make it sound and feel more unsettled being in that minor key, and you can start to see, but also just feel why this was used for Stranger Things, because of just the way it's been put together. There are some unsettling things going on musically, and we'll just point out a few more of those as we advance.
Do you wanna feel how it feels? Do you wanna know that it doesn't hurt me? Do you wanna hear about the deal they're making? It's you and me. And if only could, I'd make a deal with God, and I'd get him to swap our places.
Now, I want to point out something about this chorus. First of all, we haven't got any chord changes, any key changes. This is all the same backing that we've just had in the verse. So the drama and the light and shade that's provided here is provided with Kate's voice, how she now leans into her voice a little bit more, but her choice of melody. This is really important because when she says the word God, first of all, just the word God is going to stand out because of, the G, the consonants. It is abrupt, and everybody knows what that word is. It's going to draw your attention, but just the way that she's delivering it is so clear. Again, this comes back to the mix, but her enunciation being so clear. It's almost like she leans into the mic to make it just stand out even more. And of course, we get to appreciate that change in volume because her vocal hasn't been over compressed. It's almost like it's on a totally different level. So now I want to point out why it stands out so much from the choice of notes that Kate goes for here, let alone just the dynamic change that we've just heard. We've got this. Those are our notes. And it's effectively going to be like a call and response here. We have... And here, this is where the word God comes in. And it's so dramatic because this is, we're in our minor scale here, but it's the second note of our minor scale. And in a chord, this would be a sus2. So it means that the chord is not resolved yet. This note here that we're playing, it always feels like whatever you're hearing that has that note is not finished yet. So for example, if I go and I'm playing in C minor here, and I just leave it there, and this is the same note by the way, but then go and I resolve it, then everything makes sense. So in a nutshell, what Kate's doing here is her response to her initial call or question is not resolved. So it means that, even if people don't have any knowledge of music, this is going to feel wrong, or like the sentence hasn't finished yet, that it's not the right place to finish. Because generally when you're, that's it. You end on the root note of your chord and it's resolved. If you're going, it's like, hang on, no, what's happened there? You've finished in the wrong place. You should have gone down to there. And that's something that everybody's mind, everyone's ear, even if you're not musical, it will know that you didn't go back to where you should have gone. Because you haven't finished your sentence yet musically. Everybody speaks the language of music. Even if you can't sing or play an instrument, your brain takes this in. And this is why it feels unsettling, because of these musical details. And of course this would have been chosen because of the feel of it and it just matching everything that they wanted it to match in the series. But when you look at it musically, you think, wow, what a great response, leaving it there. And Kate would have had the option. There are other notes she could have gone to. She could have gone she could have gone there. She could have gone there, but she didn't. She went to the most unsettling note she could find. I really want you to listen out for how isolated Kate's voice is. And I'm not talking about literally using isolating software. I'm just talking about the mix. It's almost as if the band and the instrumental sound is in the background and Kate is standing by herself to the point where you can actually hear how dry her mic is. There's a little bit of delay on there. It sounds like there might be a kickback delay. It's really subtle, and a hint of reverb, but it's just like she's standing by herself and she's not included with all of those other instruments. And that's the point, that it's like she's on her own. So it's really cleverly mixed in that, first of all, having the bravery to do it like this, but then to leave it in this place that's going to make her sound isolated, which is going to make it sound even more troubled and unsettling, that she's just by herself. And that, I think, is very much the mood of the song. That's what they're going for. After Road, you can hear, you actually take in the breath, because she is so upfront. Again, it's going to just give it that human quality, that connection that is so important in a song like this, that is so set in a particular mood. A lot of that mood is generated by the singer and being able to hear her expression really clearly. You can start to really break this thing down for years because there's so much in here, but listen out for Kate's vibrato as well. Great example there of that G4. We can see here, you know, really accurate pitch wise, but we've got this it's a really subtle vibrato, but it's definitely in there because we can see it on the pitch monitoring software, but you'll be able to hear this all the time. It just shows that Kate had that ability to just hold the notes where she wants to in this song, but then, you know, have an abrupt passage vocally where she could just end the note really quickly and make it really conversational when she wants to. I'm just going to jump in here because I have to mention this about a lot of songs nowadays being remixed and, you know, edited from their originals. We've looked at a lot of songs that have been auto-tuned and pitch corrected when originally, when they were released, they weren't, and they're now using the technology nowadays to, you know, re-release songs. And yeah, some of the videos, some of the songs that we've looked at and the videos that I've done, you know, it's been sacrilege. For example, you know, auto-tuning Freddie Mercury's voice, and that's on the official Queen channel, that you can now hear a live performance of Queen from, I don't know when it was, early 70s, and they've actually put auto-tune on Freddie Mercury's voice. You know, as I said, it's sacrilege, but what I love as well is that this is untouched, and, you know, we can see it on the pitch monitoring software, that Kate's voice is allowed to go where it goes. And that's so important for expression and connection. So we'll jump back into it. And I know that this video's probably gone on for a while already, and we're only about halfway through the song, so I'll let it run on for a little bit longer. And just to point out here that we do now have this change that is effectively playing the part of a middle eight or a bridge. But like I said at the beginning, we're not changing any chords here. All of the journey that we're going on, the duration of the journey, is just seeing the same sights, but we do see them in from slightly different angles. The way that Kate changes her melody, and this is a good example here that we're breaking away from the verse, we're breaking away from the chorus, and this melody we've got now is new because we have these harmony vocals behind as well. The other thing you'll notice is the way that that synth, that kind of lead synth sound we get, which is really up front, that fills in the spaces between Kate's vocal, and we have that You know, we're just repeating the same lines, but that is a focus, that is a lead line. It's going to take your attention. What I'm going to do is, just for the rest of it, take down the instruments a little bit more. Even though Kate's really up front already, we'll just put her voice really up front so we can hear it even more isolated.
Come on, angel, come on, darling. Let's exchange the experience.
Great example of that synth sound being so up front. Like I just said, it's going to take your attention.
If I only could, I'd make a deal with God, and I'd get us to swap our places.
Really interesting there. And I didn't even notice this when I listened to the song earlier. You can hear almost screaming and chanting in the background. And this is something that subconsciously is going to go in. You're going to hear this, but you might not notice it. And it's going to make it even more unsettling. Listen to this again. I might actually take down the backing even more so that we can hear what's going on underneath Kate's voice. There's definitely just noises. It isn't even singing in the background. It's just Kate making noises. Amazing. Again, this is what happens when you isolate a vocal or just the mix. You get to hear so much more. But let me bring in the instruments a little bit more. But I still want to hear this voice in even more detail.
We're running up that road, we're running up that hill, with no problem. Sit up holy chord, and make a deal with God, and I get us to small places. We're running up that road.
Again, listen to all those voices in the background. That isn't Kate just making one noise with her voice. She's done multiple takes of her, sounding unsettled and, screaming and shouting, and it's very low in the mix. She's just throwing her voice around to get this wild sound to it in the background.
We're running up that hill, with no problem.
And it definitely maintains that spooky quality all the way till the end there by having Kate's voice pitch shifted down an octave. So it is, again, I think the best word to describe this altogether is unsettling, even at the end there. But thank you guys for requesting this song for me to take a look at. It was requested quite a while ago, but we got there in the end. Keep those suggestions and requests coming in the comment section below. As always, let me know what you guys think. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock.